The other day I received this comment, and rather typing a reply, I thought I'd do a little video. It's not my usual one, but sit back, grab a tissue, and I'll explain why I wear this hat that says soup on it. It's going to be emotional, for me anyway. There comes a time in some parent's life where a sentence is said that we definitely dread. I certainly did anyway. And that sentence was, "Dad, can we get a dog?" My initial response was no. And I said no quite a lot. The words and the meaning behind the word no was, who's going to walk it? Who's picking up after it? Who's feeding it? You know, the typical questions you would ask your kids when those words are spoken to you. Even Nicola, my wife, wanted one, and I still said no. And then eventually, for my own selfish reasons, and this was only due to a couple of break-ins and burglaries just up the road from us, that I said yes. In my mind, I was thinking a guard dog, German Shepherd, Rottweiler, a big tough dog. And so the search began. And back then, there was no internet to search really, no Facebook pages, advertising puppies for sales. It was all done through newspapers and ringing people up. Yes, ringing people up. And after a couple of months searching, we found a breeder in Umberby, which is about 70 odd miles away from where we live. I didn't drive, Nicola didn't drive back then, and so I asked my brother, who could drive, little mid, if he'd take us for this new addition to the family. I'll have to be honest, I was absolutely dreading it. Absolute dreading it. Now I remember the day like it was yesterday. And this were all the way back in the early 2000s. Snowing. It winter. Put a little cardboard box in the back seat with a blanket in. And we headed off to Umberby with 500 quid in my back pocket, which was a lot of money back then. Hell of a lot of money. And Nicola were working. I didn't have a clue about dogs. I'd never been interested in dogs. And she was working. And I remember driving all the way there, meeting the owners, the breeders, and then this little bundle, this little fur ball came out to me, and it was so cute. It was so cute. And I took him I took him off the owner and took him out to the car, put him in cardboard box, and he was so scared. And we set off back home, and I was going to go straight to Nicola's work to pick her up. And he started crying in the back seat. this cardboard box. We pulled over and I took him out of the cardboard box and I put him on my lap on a blanket, and we still had a fair while to go. This is my brother's car, his first pride and joy. And what did he do? He peed straight on my lap. I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed. We eventually arrived at Nicola's work. She was in awe, fell in love straight away, and I let her and the kids take over puppy duties. I was secretly in love. And my daughter, we were only about 3-year-old. Wait, I've ducked down, about 3-year-old back then. She's in mid-20s now. We said to her, you can name him. And we honestly thought that she was going to name him Biscuit. But she didn't. And we agreed, whatever she calls him, sticks. No negotiating, no changing, it just sticks. And to our surprise, because we were 100% certain that she was going to call him Biscuit, she called him Soup. Little golden retriever. And it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wasn't easy managing 3 young kids and a puppy and working, but we did it. We did it, and it brought so much joy into our lives. And we didn't drive back then, so we could only really take him local. And we used to bring him to this place, and he absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. He used to get up to all sorts. Jumping in the river, never scared at water. He absolutely loved it. Eventually we did pass his driving test. Took him to the beach. And he was chasing waves, and it just touched his heart. In a way that's so difficult to explain.
She's gone for some sweets, Nicola.
You're so quick! Look at Doggy, it's barking at Doggy. Mom!
Before you knew it, 12 years had gone by. And they were slowing down. A bit like me now. And eventually we had to make that really hard decision that most dog owners dread to make. And the one thing that I didn't want to do, I didn't want to take him to vets. I didn't want to do that. So the vets came out to the house. And I held him in my arms. Nicola were there. And he went to sleep. And that were a long time ago. Over 10 years ago, and I didn't realise how much of an impact he made on his lives. We were all heartbroken. But I was definitely heartbroken. I didn't expect to feel that way once he'd gone. Left his balls out and his bed out, and his toys out for a good couple of weeks afterwards. And your house just feels so empty. We used to have wooden flooring, and all you could hear when he were about were tapping on the floor. It definitely broke my heart. But there's one thing that having Soup in my life for all those years just sort of learnt me to love dogs. And it's one thing that I'd never thought I'd do. And there's things that you start thinking about, should I have done this with him, should I have done that with him? But he was a loved dog and he knew it. And they were a pain in the arse sometimes, they all are, aren't they? But it took me a long time to get over him, a long time. And even now, after 10 years or more, he's still there. That ache is still there. And obviously a few years ago, I started doing some hiking in Peak District and Yorkshire Dales and Lake District. And I just wanted him to be with me. So what I thought of is getting a little golden retriever motif on my hat with the words Soup written underneath. And this hat, no matter where I go in terms of intervals, it always comes with me. But there's one thing I do regret, and I have managed to get a couple of photos and video footages of him when he was a puppy, is that everything was taken with a digital camera back then, and the videos, and then the iPhone 3 I think it was when I got it. Everything was just backed up to an hard drive. This way, everything was just backed up to an hard drive. We just saved on hard drive. And then tablets and phones and technology evolves and you just forget about your PC that you've got all your pictures on and your videos. And literally just a couple of weeks ago I got the hard drive out of the PC, out of the loft. This way. Plugged it in. Won't work. Won't work. Won't work. And I even removed the hard drive from the PC and it's clicking, making a noise, and I've tried everything to try to retrieve data and I just can't. And I just regret not printing them off, not backing it up. So if you're in the same boat as me, back your pictures up, save them on in the cloud or wherever you can save them on another hard drive that won't fail after years, after it being years old. And I've literally lost pretty much nearly every picture of him, other than a couple. Yes, Soup was our first dog, my first dog. And he was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing he was. Rodney, down here. Come on. And now, after years of thought, and again saying no, I've got Walter and Rodney. And they're both amazing as well. I could not ask for a better two boys, eh? So loving. And they would absolutely love their older brother. I've absolutely loved him. Always getting up to mischief together, that's one. Here's Walter. Where have you been? Where have you been? Come on. Come on boys, let's go for an adventure. But I know, deep down in my heart, that Soup is always with us. And I will see him again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.